The religions of the world can be broadly classified into three categories: the Abrahamic religions, the Dharmic religions which originated in India, and the East Asian religions also called the Taoic religions. The Abrahamic religions all owe their lineage to Abraham, who is believed to be a prophet of God, and from whom several other prophets originated. 600 years after Jesus was born a man in Arabia. He lost his parents when he was still young and grew up to be a hard-working, soft-spoken individual, fair in trade and speech, living in a time where one woman would have 10 husbands, and members of one tribe would kill and foster enmity with another for generations, where the divide between white and black, rich and poor was steep, and an entire society was far removed from any formal education. He was awarded the names, the truthful and the trustworthy. Often stressed at the disparaging condition of the people, he would retire into the caves to meditate, to think, and to relieve himself of this negativity. Being an illiterate person himself, he had no grand ideas or philosophies which he could teach to the world. When he was 40 years old, he finds his answers, not from within him, but from above, through revelation from the Almighty. His name is Muhammad. He goes on to build an empire across Arabia and the world, an empire of about 1.5 billion people based solely on faith. Muhammad is given the message of his being chosen as the messenger of God and receives commandments for 23 long years. Like several earlier prophets, like Moses, Abraham, Noah, Muhammad too faces persecution, migrates from Mecca to Medina, and brings change and hope to an otherwise already doomed Arabia. The revelations given to him are contained in the Holy Quran, which Muslims consider to be the literal word of God. The message of the Quran is looked upon as God's final and complete message to all of humanity, which has the total guidance required for human happiness. The Quran in 5:3 says, "This day I have perfected for you your religion, and completed my favor upon you, and have chosen for you Islam as your religion." The extent of Islam's guidance in the affairs of human life extend from political to social life, from family values to guidelines on economics and banking, from education to the arts. The biggest contributions of Islam to the world have been internal peace and the unity of humanity. If eliminating tribal prejudice was Islam's achievement in Arabia, eliminating caste differences was its achievement in India. Whether you are white or black or brown or yellow, if you are Muslim, you stand next to each other in prayer with no internal sense of resistance. The Prophet Muhammad said, "All of humanity is equal like the teeth of a comb. If one tooth was broken or shorter or longer, then just as how one's comb would hurt him, so do differences of equality to a society." This fact can be felt by reading the stories of personalities like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, who found dignity within the equality of Islam. Many who had lived a life of addiction or promiscuity, a life of deep anger or past hurt, those from unstable family environments, find their internal peace in submitting to the will of God. Islam, by its very name, carries two of these meanings. One is peace, and it is acquired through the other, submission. The Quran in chapter Ra says, "Verily in the remembrance of God do hearts find rest." Islam's similarities to other Abrahamic religions are little known to the average man. Islam makes it an article of faith to believe in the earlier prophets of the Old Testament, including Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Muslims revere and passionately celebrate Jesus as a prophet of God, and his story is recalled in the Quran. There are differences between the biblical and Quranic accounts, and they are worthy of exploration. Muslims pray 5 times a day, fast in the month of Ramadan, and give in charity every year to the poor as an obligation. With about 6 to 8 million Muslims in America and a rapidly growing community, Islam in the West is one of the most interesting phenomena of our times. Islam's interaction with Western society are often discussed with vigor and interest, and people continue to learn about it through various sources. Today, we have amongst us various literatures on the message and history of Islam and the principles of its faith. Feel free to browse through them and talk about any comments or questions you may have at our desks.